This is Donovan McNabb, and you're listening to The Bottom Line with Steve Nugent, right here on Sports Radio 1340 WHAP Hopewell.
This is The Bottom Line with Steve the Truth Nugent.
And the truth will set you free.
He covers everything from high school to the pros and everything in between here in the Tri-Cities. Now, let's go to Steve the Truth with The Bottom Line.
All right, we are live here at the studios. This is The Bottom Line with Steve the Truth, featuring Harry Clary and Rick Morse. Of course, a beautiful Monday, fellas, out there today. What do you think, Harry?
All the Mondays have been beautiful except for one so far, so we've had some really good luck on Mondays.
Yes, we have. And, of course, that one Monday we had a thunderstorm watch where it shut down the city.
You know, I kind of like thunderstorms, though.
Yeah, I do, too. Rick, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fine.
Hey, how was your weekend, sir?
It was good. We just did the Easter thing yesterday, and it was fun.
Yeah, we had an Easter egg hunt for our grandkids and everything there at the house. So then the production meeting, Harry, you and I, weekend seemed to be the same. Work. How work around the house?
Yeah, I started my diet, and it's helping me doing all this work. You know, I was reading an article how to lose 25 pounds of ugly fat, and I didn't want to cut my head off. So I just decided that I would go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way and work it off and watch what I eat.
That's right. And I'll get you set for today's show at just about 6:15, 6:20. We'll have head coach of varsity baseball, Hopewell Blue Devils. Adam Capps will be with us right here in studio and get you set for Blue Devils baseball for 2026. Should be a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, we called the game
last year,
and it was a lot of fun. They look pretty good to me.
Yeah, they're sitting at 2-1, and we'll find out a little bit more about the Blue Devils baseball team here in just about 15 minutes or so. But taking a look at the headlines, of course, this past weekend, the Final Four was in Indianapolis, and two good games. You know, UConn ended up winning, and then they were playing Michigan. Michigan has scored at least 90 points in every game of the tournament. And you and I both picked Michigan to make it this far, but lose to Duke. But Duke ain't there. UConn's there. Who you got tonight? Well, you got Michigan tonight to win, and I got UConn to win because at the end of last week's show we all picked. He picked Illinois, Rick did, and just to be different, so each one of us had somebody different. So UConn I have tonight. They're the underdog, I think, by 7. And, of course, you got Michigan, and Michigan's playing very well.
Yeah, well, UConn, who knows? Maybe they can pull another miracle.
Yeah, if UConn wins, it'll be 3 out of the last 4 years they won the championship. A lot of people overlooking that, of course, being the underdog. But Danny Hurley's got that team playing extremely, extremely well. That comes on tonight at tip-off at 8:50, and it's on TBS, True TV, HBO Max, all 3 of them. So if you can, hopefully you can pick it up somewhere and watch the big game tonight. Of course, it's a lot of fun. Of course, other news, we got headlines. Of course, Harry winning the pool, our NCAA bracket pool. You won. You beat me by 14 points, I believe it was. Wow. So congratulations to you on that. Nobody else we can't get any more points after tonight because we didn't pick the winner. So, but
got me by 100, I think.
No, I think it was 92 to 51. I think 53. He had 53, so just 39, not 100.
It feels like it.
Yeah. And taking a look at some news here locally, the Virginia courts judge denied Virginia quarterback Chandler Morris' request for injunction to play his 7th season. Get that, his 7th season on Thursday. The 25-year-old quarterback sued the NCAA in Charlottesville court in February in an attempt to return for one more season as his extension eligibility waiver and appeal was denied by the NCAA earlier this year. Of course, Morris, who led the Cavaliers to an 11-win season in the ACC championship game in 2025, played 6 seasons and started 35 games during his stint with Oklahoma, TCU, North Texas, and UVA.
So I guess the COVID epidemic played a part in that.
Yes, and he was redshirted 1 year. I think he played in 3 games, not 4, and then he got injured but they're not giving him granting medical for that season, so he can't play college football anymore. But hopefully he'll go into the pros and do well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of leagues now. You can play in Canadian Football League. You can play in Europe.
Yeah,
you can play arena football. There's a lot of places to go.
Yeah. Now, Fernando Mendoza warmed up with his college roommates Wednesday, while nearly 24 college teammates took turns running a 40-yard dash. Then the Heisman Trophy winner Indiana quarterback did what he always seems to do, deliver another impressive performance. Get this, all 32 teams sent scouts to Indiana's campus. More than 100 media members were credentialed, and a dozen of family members and friends of the ex-Hoosier showed up for his pro day. Now, of course, he's going to be the number one pick in the draft by the Las Vegas Raiders. And what do you think about, Harry and Rick, about Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders?
Well, I think that's a good thing to do, because when you're going to rebuild a team, you're going to have to build it around a quarterback, but Kirk Cousins would be a great guy to get in there while you're bringing a young guy along. Yeah, because
we added up how much Kirk Cousins has made in his career. And
I'd like to have 1,000th of it.
$368 million. In Tom Brady's 23-year career or 24 career, he only made $341.
That's because he kept redoing his deal and giving the money back to the team, and that's why they won so many championships.
You're exactly, Rick. Your thoughts on, of course, the Raiders are in your division. You're a Bronco man.
Yeah. Well, Kirk Cousins is a good vet to train him. I just hope they don't train him too well.
Yeah.
No, I wish him luck, though.
I watched Colin Cowherd, and he is high on the Raiders now, and I've never heard him say that before.
Yeah, I like Colin Cowherd, too. And, of course, we're Fox Sports Radio, and he's Fox Sports, so we try to stay tuned to that. And, of course, big news, Harry, out of the women NBA, the Chicago Sky have traded two-time WNBA All-Star Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream for a 2027 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick, and it was announced Monday. The Dream will also receive a 2028 second-round swap. Of course, Reese is 23, defended her WNBA rebounding crown last season, averaging 12.6 per game. She is the only player in WNBA history to average at least 12 rebounds per game in the season, which she did in 2024 and 2025. Of course, so we do have a segment when the WNBA comes back and be starting up here soon that we try to follow that. And your thoughts on Angel Reese being one of the major superstars right up there with Caitlin Clark?
Well, to me, Angel Reese is one of those people that could be a really good, legitimate superstar. I think the problem with her is there's a lot of drama.
Yes,
like there's with a lot of players in professional sports.
Yes, she does carry a lot of drama. It's a good way to say it there on that. And, of course, talking about the NFL, of course, we can talk about that year-round nowadays. The New York Giants defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence II has requested a trade, and he will not be participating in the team's off-season workout program that begins on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So he's holding out. Of course, Lawrence has 2 years remaining on his deal and scheduled to make $20 million this upcoming season. He wants to be traded.
Yeah, $20 million is not enough. Get me out of here.
Yeah, I agree there on that. So, and then like I said, the new coach, Harbaugh, for the Giants, I would have thought that would have been a very positive reason to stay.
Absolutely. But if we're not in the locker room, we don't know what's going on there.
Maybe it's something going on with the organization.
It could be, yeah. But we have to keep a track of that. And, of course, this weekend is always one of the best weekends that I like, and then that is the Masters. And for the first time in his career, Rory McIlroy will drive down to Magnolia's Lane this week as a Masters champ, of course. And for the first time, he won't be carrying the burden of having never won a green jacket as he prepares for the first major championship of the season, Augusta National Golf Club. Nearly a year ago, McIlroy made a 4-foot birdie putt on the 18th hole to defeat England's Justin Rose on the first hole of sudden death in the playoffs. That's really looking good this week for Roy McIlroy. Of course, Scotty Scheffler is in his groove. He has a green jacket, and of course a couple of the live golfers, DeChambeau and Rahm, will be playing this week too. So toward the end of the show, we'll go through some of the favorites for the Masters this weekend and let you know who's out there to pick, or if you want to go on there and bet and see who you got.
Watching golf last year, I determined that there's more great golfers now at one time than there's ever been. I think it's more competitive than it's ever been.
Yeah, and it's, the money's there to win. You $25 million purses and 91 golfers in this thing, and like I said, it's always fun to watch. And
unless they play in California with the jock tax, and,
that's right.
And then in that case, you got to pay to win.
That's right, you got to pay them to win. Yep, and don't forget, I'll be at Carr Brothers this afternoon. After we finish here, we got to draw some numbers for the Masters that we do and have a little fun there. If you get a chance, come on by Carr Brothers, located at 1300 Jackson Farm Road. And speaking of Carr Brothers, just like we do every Monday at this time,
it's time for On This Date in Sports History
with Harry Clary. Brought to you by Carr Brothers, the gathering place located at 3100 Jackson Farm Road. Now, here's Harry.
That's right, Carr Brothers, the gathering place, best burger in town. If you don't believe it, go by there and order one. On this date in sports history, which is April 6th today, in 1896, the first modern Olympic Games began in Athens, Greece. On this day, of course, we all know that the Olympics were in Greece a long time ago, but the modern Olympics, they decided to have it there, and it was 1896. Hard to call that modern, huh?
Yeah, 200 years ago, 230 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. 1970, on this day, Bobby Orr, Boston Bruins, became the first defenseman to win the NHL scoring title. Now, I don't really understand that, how a defenseman can score, but he did it.
Yeah.
Okay. 1987, Sugar Ray Leonard took the middleweight title from Marvin Hagler. I saw that fight. I think Marvin Hagler won.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. 1992, first game at Camden Field, Baltimore, Maryland was played. The Orioles beat Cleveland 2-0. Steve, you and I have been to Camden Field, Camden Yards. Boy, that was a blast.
Yeah, we were on the field for batting practice with our late-night sports show baseball jerseys on that we had made for that trip. And like I said, David Hyas and Jay Dash was along with us on the show. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I've been to Baltimore, of course. Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM and 96.9 FM is the home for the Orioles. And so I got a chance to go up there quite often, and it's a lot of fun. And my grandson is, like I said, taking my daughter up there for so many years that her and JB named my grandson Camden after Camden Yards.
That's just great.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what I remember the most, they took us through the locker room. They treated us so well there, Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, they really did, and they told us not to get really near the players, but I didn't hear them. I was over there talking with Chipper Jones and all the guys. Yeah. Steve goes, Harry, you ain't supposed to be over there.
It was a lot of fun. And then for my oldest daughter's 18th birthday, she wanted what every 18-year-old daughter wants. I want to be on the field. I want to meet A-Rod. I said, well, yeah, who don't want to meet Alex Rodriguez? So I worked it out with Ralph. He was with Baltimore at the time. He's passed on now. But we got us on the field, and as soon as we walked down through the bottom of it, here comes A-Rod walking right by, and she talked to him, and then we went up there, and she met Nick Swisher and a couple of different ones, playing the Yankees, of course, there in Baltimore, so that was a lot of fun.
Right, and remember we saw Boog Powell selling hot dogs. I don't know if he's still getting around now, or if he's still with us, but it was a big thrill.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, in 2009, the 71st NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, North Carolina beats Michigan State 89-72. This is in 2009, not to be confused with the 1993 Chris Webber timeout.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And that
was against North Carolina.
That does it for that, but now we have birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
In 1951, Bert Blyleven was born. He was a major league pitcher. Do you remember him? He kind of threw underhanded. Side under.
Mm-hmm.
It was a strange throwing motion, but he was great.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1965, on April 6th, Sterling Sharp was born, NFL wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. I remember Shannon Sharp said, "I'm the only guy inducted into the Hall of Fame that has a brother that was better than
him." And then his brother got in last year, I think it was.
Yeah, he finally got in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
I was happy to see that. Yeah, me too.
In 1978, Tim Hasselbeck was born. He was a quarterback for the Redskins and the Giants, and probably more known for being married to Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
That's probably right.
But that does it for on this date in sports history. It also does it for birthdays. And back to the show.
That's right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, don't forget Coach Adam Capps will be with us, the varsity coach for the Hopewell Blue Devils baseball team. So with that, we're going to take a break. You're listening to The Bottom Line right here on WHAP, The Point.
Hi, this is Andy Clark with Ligon Jones Insurance Services. We're proud to give back to our community by supporting local youth sports and encourage you all to get out and cheer for your team. We're a local independent agent representing Erie Insurance and several others. Give us a call at 804-458-8522 or stop by our new location at 5392 Prince George Drive, Suite B, and let us show you what old-fashioned customer service feels like. We can be your insurance concierge and save you money. www.ligonjones.com.
I just want to encourage everybody listening today. Your health matters. Your peace matters. You don't have to settle for feeling exhausted, stressed, or just stuck wherever you are. God gave us everything we need. Simple, powerful gifts from the earth to support our bodies naturally. It's not complicated. It's not overwhelming. It's just about taking one small step back to what He originally intended. You deserve to feel amazing. And natural solutions are really closer than you think. It's just a text, a phone call, or a stop by Carr Brothers away.
Start your wellness journey today. Reach out to Tony Carr Hathaway. She's been waiting for you. Text wellness to 804-212-8571.
Hemco, a family-owned business which operates as a full-service buyer, processor, and seller. Hemco purchases, collects, processes, then remits any and all salvageable materials such as copper, brass, aluminum, stainless steel, and much more for the recycling industry. That's Hemco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company, located at 213 South 6th Avenue, Hopewell, Virginia. For services or questions, call Hemco at 458-8514, open Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's Hemco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company.
Looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate? Let Keith and Mandy guide you through the journey of homeownership for years to come. With over 17 years of experience as multi-million-dollar producers, they specialize in residential and commercial properties across Richmond, Chesterfield, the Tri-Cities, and surrounding areas. Call 804-712-0188 and visit them at 11801 Center Street in Chester. They're online at hourglassrealtygroup.com.
Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Now, let's get back to Steve the Truth with The Bottom Line.
That's what I said.
That's right. We are back here on The Bottom Line, taking a look at your scoreboard. Of course, the tip-off tonight at 8:50. It is between UConn and Michigan for all the marbles that'll be on TBS. That is your national championship basketball game. And congratulations to UCLA, the Lady Bruins, for winning the championship yesterday against South Carolina. Taking a look at your scoreboard right now, it's bottom of the first inning, Kansas City and Cleveland in baseball. We've got a runner on first there for Kansas City, no score in the game. One final from earlier today, Tampa Bay defeated Chicago Cubs 6-4. And, of course, tonight your Baltimore Orioles are playing. First pitch is at 7:40 tonight, and they're in Chicago taking on the White Sox. And good leeway from Baltimore Orioles baseball. Into the gentleman that's joining us right now in studio, Coach Capps. Man, I cannot thank you enough, man, for being here with us. And, of course, last year we got you on. It was by phone. This year you're in studio, man. Thanks so much.
Glad to be here, Steve. Always good to be with you, man.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you're coming in 2-1, looking pretty good. Taking a look at your roster right here, you got a couple seniors on the team. Your thoughts, real quick, on the team that you have right now?
Yeah, we're driven, and we go as our seniors go. They're the heart and soul of the team. We got a bunch of young pieces around them, which, if you're gonna have a team, that's kind of how you want. You want it to be driven by the seniors and good leadership, and that's what we have. The role players, they're still kind of finding their way, but we're getting better as the season goes on, and our goal is always to be peaking in May. That's where we want to be playing our best ball, and I think we're on pace to do that. We're going to have some growing pains early, especially with some of these guys that don't have a lot of experience, but our guys at the top of the order, man, our seniors, they're doing their job, and they're helping these young guys kind of mold them into what they should be doing. So. Yeah,
last year Harry and I had a chance to do a baseball game on the radio, and the team looked really, really good. You had a good year last year. Now taking a look at your roster there, we'll start off with Bristol. He's a senior. Your thoughts on him?
Oh yeah, Deshaun. He's been a 3-year starter for us. He's really kind of coming to his own this year. He was a left fielder, corner guy for us for the last couple of years. Had to take over the center field job, and he's done that well. And truthfully, I was never a center fielder, but the word always was that center field is generally easier to play than the corners. And I think he's kind of taken that and proven that to be true, because he was, he always struggled with the balls hooking or slicing away, but in center field, especially with his athleticism, allowed him to just go get it. That really has kind of opened the door for him with what he can do, especially with his style of play. But yeah, he's done a really good job for us so far in center field, and he's just going to get better. Yeah. Now, this young man here I had on the bottom line with the wrestling team, Larry Burgess, and because the wrestling team made the States for the first time in a while. And your thoughts on Larry? He's an athlete. He, like I said, I was picking with him about I think he had a pick 6 during the football season. Yeah, I love Larry, man. He's a team guy, man, and he's such a good kid to be around, and such a fun guy to be around too. He's one of those guys. He's always in a good mood. He's always having a good day, and he kind of understands his role, and he's okay with that. Which with a lot of, especially in baseball, it's hard to accept a role as a backup player. But he's kind of taken that, and he's been a great teammate. He's the first one to high five his guys, and whenever we do need to call on him, he's always ready. So that's what you really want in a role player like that. Yes, sir. Now, of course, this next gentleman, I had him on with Coach Irby during the football season, and Coach Irby made a point to mention that Coon's been wanting to play linebacker and play football, but his best sport is baseball, and Coach didn't want him to come out for baseball and get hurt because luckily Coach said that everything went well. And Luke Kuntz, man, you describe him a little bit. He's a great athlete. He's a stud, man. He is. He's probably one of the best hitters that I've ever had the privilege to coach. Probably one of the best ball players in general. These guys, he's part of that last wave that I was really able to get to know at a young age, coming through the Hopewell Rec Leagues, and he was one that I was excited to get for years, man. So I've had a good relationship with him and his parents for many years, and he's as pure of a hitter as it gets. He's one of those guys that he can kill you with power. He can spray line drives opposite field. He can hit the breaking stuff. There's not really an easy way to get him out. And on the bases, behind the plate, what he's been doing for us this year has been really, you can't put it into words what he's done for us to kind of fill that void that Colson McCumber left behind last year moving on. So, he's the epitome of a team guy as well, especially for a kid who's going to college to play probably middle infield. For him to take the role and to take the responsibility of being behind the plate, playing a position that he's not going to be playing in a few months. So, what he's done for us has been, magnified even more so. And I asked him when he was here with us with the football team, him going to Shawan, that's the school that you went to. Yeah. So as a coach, that's got to be some good feeling, great feeling. I'm never pushing it on the guys. I always let them make their own decision. I offer, advice when they need it. But, for him to decide to go there, that's great because selfishly, it's not too far away. I can go check in on him anytime I want to, and I kind of know the ins and outs. I can explain the ropes to him a little bit. So I'm very excited to see him go there, and God knows they need him. They've been struggling a little bit for the last probably 5 or 6 years, and but I just talked to him about that today in school. It's like, I want to see Chawan do well. But at the same time, for an incoming guy, you kind of want to see them struggle a little bit because it means there's going to be a lot of turnover next year and probably a lot of chance for him to play early. So so we're both excited about that.
Yeah, experience. You can't. That's the best. Go in there and play right away.
Yeah.
And of course, he does have a chance to break. Well, let's see. Let's start it off like this. He's 16 hits away from your number.
He's 16 from me, and probably less now. I would say probably 11 or 12 away from me now, which he'll get that easily. But he's knocking on the door to some big names that's come through Hopewell, man. And it couldn't happen to a better kid. He's been a first team kid 3 years in a row. He's going to be 4 years in a row this year. But yeah, he's knocking on the door, man, and as long as nothing, knock on wood, nothing unforeseen happens, he should have no problem.
Yeah, that's great. Now, of course, Brian Moore, he's a senior too. Of course, he was with us with the football. He was the quarterback of the football team this year, and talking about leadership, he's bringing that to the baseball, and he's your first baseman, I believe.
Yeah, he's first baseman, and he's been looking darn good on the mound too in his bullpen sessions, and I think throwing that football for the last few months really helped his arm strength and conditioning and whatnot. But his main value is just leadership. He's a great first baseman. He's a great 3-hole hitter. He'll fill in great for us on the mound. But his leadership is really what we're valuing the most because he kind of keeps things running smooth, commands a young infield, and leads the way. So what he does is very valuable.
Yeah, Ethan McCumber too. Of course, he's very athletic young man.
Yeah, Ethan's a good one, man. He's the only kid that I've ever coached that has a chance to stick at shortstop in college. Most of the other guys, like Luke, Luke's the second baseman by trade, and I've had good shortstops come through. Trey Burton comes to my mind, Dawson Hogg, but those are guys like when they get to college, they're going to move to a different position because the demand of playing shortstop in college is very difficult. But Ethan's athleticism and speed and arm strength all combined, he has a chance to stick at shortstop for a while.
All right, scoot up just a little bit more to that mic there. And then Gonzalez, of course, he's a senior.
Yeah, Benji. He hasn't been with us right now. He's still trying to get his grades right, but he's another guy that we are hoping can turn the corner for us and get things straight and be able to help us out a little bit, but for now, he's kind of on the back burner. Yeah,
if you're just joining us here at the bottom of the hour, this is The Bottom Line with Steve the Truth, featuring Harry Clary and Rick Morris. Joining us now is the head coach of the Hopewell Blue Devils baseball team, Adam Capps. And, of course, you got John Duncan and David Hott still helping you out.
Yeah, they're my guys, man. They've been with me since I started, 10 years ago. So, actually, John's been there, was an assistant before I even got on. So I think he's in his probably 14th year with the program. I'm in my 13th altogether, 10th as a head coach, but they've been with me since the beginning, man. I wouldn't be able to do anything without those guys.
Yeah. Now, anybody else on the roster that I didn't mention that possibly could be impact?
I've been really impressed with Marvin Berry. He's kind of taken the role in left field and has really turned into one of our more reliable outfielders. And he's one of the best base runners that we have in the program. And one of the downsides to having him being a full-time starter now for us is that I can't just rely on him to be our courtesy runner or pinch runner when we need him. But what he's been able to do in left field for us so far has been very valuable. Yeah. Now, taking a look at your schedule, of course, tomorrow night you take on the Meadowbrook Monarchs. Your thoughts on Meadowbrook? Well, I'm keeping tabs on. They're playing right now as we speak, so I'm kind of following their Verina game. But yeah, I think they're going to be a little bit down because they lost a few guys from last year that I don't think they were anticipating losing. Guys that transferred out or decided to just not play. I'm not sure what the case was. Mm-hmm. But I think they always play us tough. They're a scrappy bunch, but if we handle our business, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, then you travel to Dinwiddie Thursday. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Dinwiddie's had off to a hot start. I don't know too much about what they have, but they're playing good ball right now, so that's all we know.
Yeah, and then we're Petersburg here at home on the 14th.
Yeah, Petersburg. I'm happy to see they're playing, man. They've been a year and a half without a program, so I'm excited to see them back on the field and playing ball, and hopefully that program continues to grow.
Yeah. And then Highland Springs, that's a very winnable game for Hopewell.
Yeah. You know, they have a kid that's been very highly touted for a couple years that I'm anxious to see is center fielder. I think his last name's Archer, and he's actually rated as one of the highest rated sophomores in the state. So I'm curious to see what he's got. But once again, another winnable game if we play well. But they're a team that always plays us tough as well. So we don't have the liberty of being able to take anybody lightly for sure.
Now, and this is a rivalry, of course, Prince George.
Yeah.
And they seem to have a good baseball team.
Oh yeah, they're you know that they've had a good program now for 3 or 4 years in a row, and they just haven't been able to piece it together. It's almost like they got the talent, but for some reason they just never meshed all that well. But it seems to be like they're playing a little bit better this year. They got gobs of pitching. You know, they got guys 1 through 9 that can hit it. So it's always a challenge for us, and I'm sure they're going to come out guns a-blazing for us after last year.
Yeah, and Colonial Heights, of course, I'm just mentioning somewhat that used to be the Central District. Yeah, Colonial Heights has got a pretty good team, the Colonials.
Yeah, I think this is, talking to our coaching staff, this was the year that we were kind of expecting them to probably be their best. They're very heavily loaded with seniors. Not too much coming up the pike from what I understand in the JV program, so, hopefully we can kind of navigate through this last year and let them, kind of lose a few guys and kind of downgrade a little bit, but they're always tough as well. They ended our season last year, so we're going to come at them with a little chip on our shoulder for sure.
Yeah, so Coach, man, anybody you want to give a shout out to, man, I really appreciate you coming on, and like I said, good luck this season with the baseball. We're going to try to get out there and catch some of the games. Of course, WHAP, I listened to some of the game against Thomas Dale on the radio when Jeff Butler was out there doing that. So good luck this season. And like I said, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, I think my wife and my son are listening. My daughter, I'll obviously give them a shout out. They're AJ, my son. He's my ride or die, man. He was at practice with me today. He's my little shadow. So
he's a good player.
He is. He's a darn good player himself, man. And he just needs to keep developing, keep growing, and I think he'll be able to do some special stuff.
And when you were talking about Luke Kuntz, he was on that team with y'all with the Dixie State Championship.
Yeah, he was, man. And AJ kind of reminds me a lot of Luke and kind of the way that they hit. I think AJ's a little bit more advanced pitching wise than Luke was, but that's a very good comparison to be in that realm with Luke. So
man, thanks so much for being here, and like I said, good luck this season. We're going to follow you. Every Monday night I update what's going on with the baseball team, the soccer team, and the girls softball team. So we'll keep everybody abreast of what's happening. And Adam, thanks again for being here, big guy. And with that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, me and Harry and Rick will be back with you. We'll do the NHL update, and then we're going to talk a little Masters and some championship games. Who you got tonight, Michigan or UConn?
I got UConn, man. I think Dan Hurley's got him playing good ball. He's a little unorthodox with his style, but he's got him playing well, man. So I got UConn.
Yeah, he is definitely fun to watch.
He is. He's a sight.
Yeah. With that, we're going to take a break. You're listening to The Bottom Line right here on WHAP, The Point.
K&L Barbecue at 1410 Maple Street, inside Cavalier Square, Hopewell, wants you to know they have great specials on the daily menu, such as hamburger steaks, grilled chicken, a lightly fried chicken sandwich, and of course, the best chicken and dumplings in the Tri-Cities. And don't forget about their world-famous barbecue and sauce. Dine in or carry out at K&L Barbecue. Call 458-4241. That's 458-4241 for K&L Barbecue.
Hi, this is Andy Clark with Ligon Jones Insurance Services. We're proud to give back to our community by supporting local youth sports and encourage you all to get out and cheer for your team. We're a local independent agent representing Erie Insurance and several others. Give us a call at 804-458-8522 or stop by our new location at 5392 Prince George Drive, Suite B, and let us show you what old-fashioned customer service feels like. We can be your insurance concierge and save you money. www.ligonjones.com.
Looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate? Let Keith and Mandy guide you through the journey of homeownership for years to come. With over 17 years of experience as multi-million-dollar producers, they specialize in residential and commercial properties across Richmond, Chesterfield, the Tri-Cities, and surrounding areas. Call 804 855-712-0188 and visit them at 11801 Center Street in Chester. They're online at hourglassrealtygroup.com.
Carr Brothers, located at 3100 Jackson Farm Road here in Hopewell. The Gathering Place has great salads, specials every day, and without a doubt, the best burger in town. Call for carryout at 458-4144. That's 458-4144. Carr Brothers.
Himco, a family-owned business which operates as a full-service buyer, processor, and seller. Himco purchases, collects, processes, then remits any and all salvageable materials such as copper, brass, aluminum, stainless steel, and much more for the recycling industry. That's Himco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company, located at 213 South 6th Avenue, Hopewell, Virginia. For services or questions, call Himco at 458-8514. Open Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's Himco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company.
911 is the number that can save civilians' lives. 1-800-COP-LINE is the number that can save yours. Did you know more cops die by suicide than in the line of duty? Talk to a cop who cares. Call 1-800-COP-LINE or visit VAFirstResponderWellness.org. The life you save could be your own. Paid for by the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services.
I just want to encourage everybody listening today. Your health matters. Your peace matters. You don't have to settle for feeling exhausted, stressed, or just stuck wherever you are. God gave us everything we need. Simple, powerful gifts from the earth to support our bodies naturally. It's not complicated. It's not overwhelming. It's just about taking one small step back to what He originally intended. You deserve to feel amazing. And natural solutions are really closer than you think. It's just a text, a phone call, or a stop by Carr Brothers away.
Start your wellness journey today. Reach out to Tony Carr Hathaway. She's been waiting for you. Text wellness to 804-212-8571.
Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Now let's get back to Steve the Truth with the bottom line.
That's what I said.
All right, we're back here at the Fox Sports Studios. I am Steve Tooth. Taking a look at your scoreboard. Of course, tonight at 8:50 tip-off is UConn taking on Michigan for the national championship. You can see that on TBS, True TV, and HBO Max. Taking a look at your baseball scores on MLB.TV. It's Kansas City and Cleveland. It's all knotted up at 0 here in the bottom of the second inning. One final from earlier today is Chicago falling short to Tampa Bay 6-4. And, of course, don't forget tonight, your first pitch is at 7:40 between the Baltimore Orioles and the Chicago White Sox. Now, let's send it to Rick Morris for the NHL update.
All right. This is your NHL updates brought to you by Ligon Jones Insurance. Let's get started with Sunday scores. The Wild beat the Red Wings 5-4. The Penguins take care of the Panthers 5-2. The Flyers get a win over the Bruins 2-1. The Senators beat the Hurricanes 6-3. The Devils get a shutout over the Canadiens 3-0. The Rangers get a huge win over the Capitals 8-1. What a game there.
Yeah. And
finally, the Blues beat the Avalanche 3-2. But they still lead the league with a record of 50-16-10. Go Avalanche. And scheduled for tonight, there are 4 games at 7. There is the Lightning with the Lightning visit the Sabres. At 7:30, the Kraken take on the Jets. And at 10 o'clock, the Blackhawks visit the Sharks. And finally, at 10:30, the Predators take on the Kings. And that's it for the NHL updates. Now back to Steve the Truth.
All right, man. Thanks so much. A real quick note, fellas. The North Carolina Tar Heels search for their next head coach. They didn't think it was going to come to be an former NBA coach, to be now the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. And yes, longtime NBA coach Michael Malone as the school's next head coach. ESPN is saying Malone is an NBA champion from his time with the Denver Nuggets and won 510 games in 12 seasons as the head coach. He's one of the most respected coaches in the NBA and spent 10 plus months with ESPN as the analysis. So, North Carolina got a pro coach at football, Bill Belichick. Now basketball, they got an NBA coach. What do you think North Carolina's trying to do down there?
Well, I think it's great to get an NBA coach because if you could imagine, Steve, if we were an NBA coach, it's hard to coach people that the pro guys got a lot of ego, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go down to the college level, those people, I believe they're more coachable. And I believe I would feel more comfortable trying to help young fellas than guys that probably thought they knew more than I did.
And not just that. Now with this NIL deal where these players are getting paid $5-6 million, and you got a GM running the school, now, that tells you right there he can relate to them guys. And, of course, we'll see how he does on recruiting, but North Carolina, who plays basketball who don't want to go to North Carolina?
I know. The name North Carolina is a recruiter in itself.
Yep, you're exactly right. So that's big news there for the University of North Carolina. And, of course, I want to thank Rick for the update for the National Hockey League. That's always good to be brought to you by Legion Jones Insurance. I'm close enough. Andy Clark, of course.
Legion's up.
Yep. Now, if you're just joining us here about 15 minutes toward the hour, this is The Bottom Line with Steve the Truth, featuring the one, the only, the myth, the legend that is Harry Clary, and the entertainer that is Rick Morris. This weekend, fellas, is the Masters Golf Tournament. And as of April 6th, which is today, Scotty Scheffler is the clear favorite to win the 2026 Masters with odds of being plus 500, followed by the defending champion Roy McIlroy plus 1,100, John Rahm plus 950, and DeChambeau's plus 1,000. The tournament, which features $21 million in purse, will be held at the Augusta Nationals with top contenders including Scheffler as well. Now, Scotty Scheffler, of course, he's number one in the world, and he won it 22 and 24, four straight top tens in the Masters. What do you think about Scotty Scheffler?
Well, I used to do that drawing pool with y'all, and I was just going to ask you, Steve, if you get the first pick, are you going to take Scotty Scheffler?
No, I am taking John Rahm.
See, don't say that too loud because they're going to...
if I get the first pick. It's 9 of us that's playing now, so...
and our friend David Hyos, he likes DeChambeau.
Yeah, DeChambeau.
That's his favorite golfer.
Yeah, ranked among top contenders by DraftKings, but he can hit the ball 400 yards on the driver. That's a long ways.
Oh, yeah. I got a joke about that I'll tell you later.
All right, yeah. Taking a look at Roy McIlroy, of course, he's seeking back-to-back victories and his 6th major. And then Alexander Schauffele, considered as a high value, considered by SI Golf following consecutive top 5 finishes. But it's always great to see the pretty bushes and everything down there at the golf, especially on a Sunday. Of course, Easter was yesterday. That was a beautiful, a little rain here and there, but it's just that time of year. Pollen's got me. That's why I'm a little slow today because of the allergies, but it's just this time of year is just beautiful.
I don't know if it's the high definition today or I'm just noticing it. It seems like to me the golf courses are way more beautiful than they were like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But then I was watching it in black and white. It's hard to tell.
That's right. Yeah, but like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's 91 golfers. They cut it in half after 2 days, and then the weekend play.
91 cut in half. Oh my God! Somebody's going to be 45 and a half people.
Yeah, somebody's either 46 or 45. You're exactly right. Yep. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to give you our final thoughts on the game tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about the UConn and Michigan matchup and a couple other things that we got for you to close the show. You're listening to The Bottom Line right here on WHAP, The Point. Carr Brothers, located at 3100 Jackson Farm Road here in Hopewell. The Gathering Place has great salads, specials every day, and without a doubt, the best burger in town. Call for carryout at 458-4144. That's 458-4144. Carr Brothers.
Looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate? Let Keith and Mandy guide you through the journey of homeownership for years to come. With over 17 years of experience as multi-million-dollar producers, they specialize in residential and commercial properties across Richmond, Chesterfield, the Tri-Cities, and surrounding areas. Call 804-712-0188 and visit them at 11801 Center Street in Chester. They're online at hourglassrealtygroup.com.
This is Andy Clark with Ligon Jones Insurance Services. We're proud to give back to our community by supporting local youth sports and encourage you all to get out and cheer for your team. We're a local independent agent representing Erie Insurance and several others. Give us a call at 804-458-8522 or stop by our new location at 5392 Prince George Drive, Suite B, and let us show you what old-fashioned customer service feels like. We can be your insurance concierge and save you money. www.ligonjones.com.
Hemco, a family-owned business which operates as a full-service buyer, processor, and seller. Hemco purchases, collects, processes, then remits any and all salvageable materials such as copper, brass, aluminum, stainless steel, and much more for the recycling industry. That's Hemco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company, located at 213 South 6th Avenue, Hopewell, Virginia. For services or questions, call Hemco at 458-8514, open Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's Hemco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company.
I just want to encourage everybody listening today. Your health matters. Your peace matters. You don't have to settle for feeling exhausted, stressed, or just stuck wherever you are. God gave us everything we need. Simple, powerful gifts from the earth to support our bodies naturally. It's not complicated. It's not overwhelming. It's just about taking one small step back to what He originally intended. You deserve to feel amazing. And natural solutions are really closer than you think. It's just a text, a phone call, or a stop by Carr Brothers away.
Start your wellness journey today. Reach out to Tony Carr Hathaway. She's been waiting for you. Text wellness to 804-212-8571.
This is Mark Malone, and you're listening to The Bottom Line with Steve the Truth Nugent right here on Sports Radio 1340 WHAP Hopewell.
Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Now, let's get back to Steve the Truth with The Bottom Line.
That's what I said.
All right, we are back here at the studios. Of course, we want to thank Coach Caps for being with us in segment 2. And like I said, good luck to all Hopewell sports, of course, going on here in the spring. Of course, Kansas City and Cleveland are all knotted up at 0 with the bottom of the third. Mid-first, Cincinnati and Miami's all knotted up at 0. And, of course, bottom of the first is San Diego taking on Pittsburgh. And the top of the first is Milwaukee taking on the Red Sox. Top of the first is St. Louis taking on the Nationals with 2 outs in the top of the first. And in one final from earlier today, Tampa Bay defeated Chicago Cubs 6-4. So, with that, we do have a little promo we got to read here. Sunday afternoons at 4, it's time for great beach music with Win, the Baby Boomer Hasty, right here on WHAP The Point. Win was actually called Hopewell High School football with me for several years, and me and JB as well, and for Hopewell Blue Devils football here at WHAP. And now he is on every Sunday at 4 o'clock playing beach music, Harry.
Yeah, well, Wynn's been here quite a while, kind of like you and I have been here on and off for a long time.
Yeah, yep, you're exactly right. And then you got right there some more.
That's right. On Saturday mornings, we have 2 bluegrass shows here. The Bluegrass Barbershop with Keith the Barber, that's on Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then right after that, you got Bluegrass with Buddy, Grass and Gospel. He starts at 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Both of them are great guys. They play great music. They got a big following. Everybody loves them.
Yeah, they do play some great music, of course. Then you got Gordon Finney every weekday from Monday through Friday from 6 to 10. I tune in to him sometimes in the mornings when I'm working my real job.
I just work my fake one.
That's right. But like I said, it's a lot of big news, a big game tonight. UConn taking on Michigan. Our picks last week, Harry, you picked UConn. I mean, between last week we picked the Final Four. we did our brackets 3 weeks ago, but last Monday we went ahead and picked the Final Four. You picked UConn to win and Michigan to win, and they did. But you picked Michigan to win tonight. And they're favored by 6.5 right now.
Right, but they're playing UConn, right?
Yeah.
Boozer, I'll bet that's stuck in his craw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's probably he pulled it out, that big one.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Rick, you took Illinois versus Michigan. Illinois came up a little short, and you had Illinois winning tonight. They came up a little short on Saturday. I had UConn and Michigan, but I have UConn winning, and you have Michigan. So we all picked somebody different, and so tonight
two of us are going to be wrong.
Two of us will be wrong.
Does it really pay to be different?
That's right. You're exactly right. So that's going to do it for our show tonight. We want to thank Coach Capps for being here. Of course, you can check us out next Monday as well. Every Monday right here, we'll keep you updated with everything that's happening in Hopewell. Like I said, the promo says it all. We take care of everything between high school and the pros. That we do.
That's right, and not only that, Steve, you are big into the youth sports, and I think that's great. I know the promo says everything from high school to the pros and everything in between, but actually Steve covers everything before high school.
Yes, we do, yep. And, of course, some of these guys on this baseball roster we already had on the show. Larry Burgess, he was on with Coach Mike with the wrestling team. He was a wrestler. Luke Kuntz and Brian Moore, they were here with the football team with Coach Irby that was with us. So, yeah, I think we do. If you are a Hopewell Blue Devil and you want to keep your sports updated, we are the show right here on Monday nights from 6 to 7. Then we're also the show on Comcast, Cable 3 in the Tri-Cities, TJ Videos on Tuesdays from 5 to 6. And that's a podcast pretty much. It's live video. You can see us sitting right here where we're at, me with my Dolphin shirt on and my Callaway hat, sporting the Masters, and Rick's Bo Nix shirt he's got over there for the Denver Broncos. And, of course, Harry's sporting the colors of Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. And with that, we're going to say good night, and we'll be back with you next Monday and Tuesday. And you can check out our YouTube channel at any time at the Bottom Line Sports Talk Radio Show WHAP. Is that correct? I think that was pretty close.
Bottom Line Sports Talk WHAP.
Yeah, that's what it is. We'll check it out. Check us out. And like I said, we'll be back next Monday, and enjoy the national championship game tonight, folks. It's going to be a good one. You're listening to The Bottom Line.
It's time to say good night, Steve.
Good night, Steve. And if anybody's keeping score, I believe I won 1-0. With that, we'll be back next Monday. You're listening to The Bottom Line right here on WHAP, The Point.
Thanks for listening to The Bottom Line on WHAP 1340 AM and 96.9 FM every Monday night at 6 p.m. You can also watch video replays of the show on TJ Video Channel 3 on your local cable in the Tri-Cities every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Then, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Bottom Line Sports Talk WHAP and our Facebook page at The Bottom Line Sports Talk Radio Show.
K&L Barbecue at 1410 Maple Street, inside Cavalier Square, Hopewell. Wants you to know they have great specials on the daily menu, such as hamburger steaks, grilled chicken, a lightly fried chicken sandwich, and of course, the best chicken and dumplings in the Tri-Cities. And don't forget about their world-famous barbecue and sauce. Dine in or carry out at K&L Barbecue. Call 458-4241. That's 458-4241 for K&L Barbecue.
I just want to encourage everybody listening today. Your health matters. Your peace matters. You don't have to settle for feeling exhausted, stressed, or just stuck wherever you are. God gave us everything we need. Simple, powerful gifts from the earth to support our bodies naturally. It's not complicated. It's not overwhelming. It's just about taking one small step back to what He originally intended. You deserve to feel amazing. And natural solutions are really closer than you think. It's just a text, a phone call, or a stop by Car Brothers away.
Start your wellness journey today. Reach out to Tony Carr Hathaway. She's been waiting for you. Text wellness to 804-212-8571.
Looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate? Let Keith and Mandy guide you through the journey of homeownership for years to come. With over 17 years of experience as multi-million-dollar producers, they specialize in residential and commercial properties across Richmond, Chesterfield, the Tri-Cities, and surrounding areas. Call 804-712-0188 and visit them at 11801 Center Street in Chester. They're online at hourglassrealtygroup.com.
Car Brothers, located at 3100 Jackson Farm Road here in Hopewell. The Gathering Place has great salads, specials every day, and without a doubt, the best burger in town. Call for carryout at 458-4144. That's 458-4144. Car Brothers.
Hi, this is Andy Clark with Ligon Jones Insurance Services. We're proud to give back to our community by supporting local youth sports and encourage you all to get out and cheer for your team. We're a local independent agent representing Erie Insurance and several others. Give us a call at 804-458-8522 or stop by our new location at 5392 Prince George Drive, Suite B, and let us show you what old-fashioned customer service feels like. We can be your insurance concierge and save you money. www.ligonjones.com.
Hemco, a family-owned business which operates as a full-service buyer, processor, and seller. Hemco purchases, collects, processes, then remits any and all salvageable materials such as copper, brass, aluminum, stainless steel, and much more for the recycling industry. That's Hemco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company, located at 213 South 6th Avenue, Hopewell, Virginia. For services or questions, call Hemco at 458-8514, open Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's Hemco, Hopewell Iron and Metal Company.
911 is the number that can save civilians' lives. 1-800-COP-LINE is the number that can save yours. Did you know more cops die by suicide than in the line of duty? Talk to a cop who cares. Call 1-800-COP-LINE or visit VAFirstResponderWellness.org. The life you save could be your own. Paid for by the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services.
This is Donovan McNabb, and you're listening to The Bottom Line with Steve Nugent, right here on Sports Radio 1340, WHAP, Hopewell.
Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Now, let's get back to Steve the Truth with The Bottom Line.
That's what I said.
This is Mark Malone, and you're listening to The Bottom Line with Steve the Truth Nugent, right here on Sports Radio 1340 WHAP, Hopewell.
Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Now, let's get back to Steve the Truth with The Bottom Line.